WPL C74 JA11. Hi everyone, welcome back to RC Pi, and quite an exciting day for me today. New car, and it's my first ever WPL and WPL's first ever 1/10 scale crawler. So let's get it open and see what's in the box. So here it is, the officially licensed Suzuki Jimny. It's a Jimny Mark II, I believe. That JA11 version from the early 90s. Yeah, it's 1/10 scale. You kind of wouldn't guess it from the size of the box. You know, normally when you get a 1/10 scale, your box is massive, but it's teeny weeny. Now they are a small car. You know, we know Jimnys are small cars, even the current one. Massive price tag, tiny car. So let's have a look. Nice enough box. You can certainly see what's going to be inside it. They're certainly making a point of saying it's 1/10 scale. Fair enough. Not too much detail on there. The model number is only here, which is a bit of a funny one. WPL model numbers are a little bit confusing, but this is the C74. Bit of other information on there, but not a lot. Let's have a look inside. Bit of a bash, but hopefully the car's survived. And there it is. We've got the Jimny. Transmitter, battery, charger, instruction sheet, little parts bag, and don't know what those are. So let's have a look. First of all, the transmitter. I know that people actually rave about these. A lot of MN users driving things like the MN99 switch over to WPL radio gear. It's a very, very strange shape, but actually feels okay. No idea what the controls are on there. We've got one trim knob with left and right on it, and then a steering rate button and a throttle rate button. So whether you hold those and then turn that trim knob, I'm not sure, to adjust those dual rates. So this takes 2 AA batteries. You do need a screwdriver to get in there. I've had a quick look at the instructions, and there is nothing explaining how to use these steering rate and throttle rate buttons. So I'll have to have a play with those later and see what they do or how to use them. What else is in here? Well, the instruction sheet itself. It's a single sheet of paper with Chinese of some variety on one side and English on the other side. It's reasonably thorough, nothing special, but if you don't know what you're doing, it should get you by. Tiny little battery. It's 7.4 volts, so a 2S lithium ion battery. That's what, 600 milliamp hours. USB charger, which I've just plugged in, and I have to say it's a shocker. If you just stick it in and leave it, it's not going to charge at all. This particular one, I had to force it to get the contacts to work, so that's not a very good start. Up your game, WPL. There's also a tiny little bag here with 2 number plate, license plate holders for the front and rear of the car, although the rear already has one on, so that's a bit strange. Maybe they expect you to knock them off the front, I don't know. And a bag of bits, which did contain the charger, but also has the WPL sticker sheet that they stick in everything. The car's sticker sheet, which has got the rear lights, it's got the instrument panel, some Suzuki logos, and I guess these are indicators or indicator repeaters, or just maybe they're reflectors for the rear bumper. That's probably what they are. There's also two little stick-on mirrors. The two door mirrors there. Two windscreen wipers. An aerial, an antenna. A spare end for a drive shaft. You can see that, spare end for a drive shaft, which is nice. Two door handles. What on earth is this? A tiny little piece. There's a fuel tank cap and the washer fluid jet as well. Okay, so a few little detail parts there to put on, and a tiny little screwdriver, which I suspect is completely the wrong pitch for anything on the car, but who knows. Oh, and one spare leaf spring. Again, a bit of a strange one getting one. If there were two, then you'd say they were different strength to ones that are on the car, but let's have a look at the car. Oh, three door handles. Sorry, there are three door handles, so probably one from the back. Yeah. So here's the car itself. First thing I notice, I don't know whether you can see through there. I don't think the dashboard is supposed to be like that. I think the steering wheel is supposed to face the driver and not supposed to face the front of the car. So sadly, something is amiss. Hopefully they're not all coming like that, but this particular one is going to need the body removing and that putting right. Other than that, the body itself looks quite nice. The plastic is, well, a bit plasticky. It's certainly not got a high gloss. Let's take these sheets off. Hopefully not pull the windows off doing this. Now that seems, excuse me, that seems a bit strange, putting one of those protective sticky sheets on when you've not got a high gloss body. Don't really see the point of that. Perhaps because it was so tight in the box, so it would be rubbing on the roof. But yeah, the moulding itself is quite nice, quite good detail. You've got things like the door locks are detailed on there. Various different vents are all there. The air intake is quite nicely done on the bonnet or the hood. Separate pieces for the door hinges. Doors don't open. We have got Jimny badges, 3 of those on the body as well, and the spare wheel cover, which I think is quite a nice thing to put on rather than putting on a spare wheel, which is usually a bit heavy. Detail inside looks okay as well, but we will have to have a look at that after. So let's have a look underneath. Now it's fully leaf sprung, rigid axles as you'd expect. I think this is just a standard WPL chassis and running gear that you would have found on one of the Toyotas, of which they've done plenty. It certainly looks like that. There are no shock absorbers whatsoever, so you're just working on the leaf springs with this, so it's going to be a bit bouncy, but they are very, very light, so it might not matter so much. The wheels and tyres, I'm not sure whether those are WPL version 3s or version 2s, or maybe they're 4s, I'm not sure. I can't remember. I bought a couple of different ones of these for the MN99, but quite nice detail. They look pretty scale. They are not bead locks, they're just held on with friction. But they feel relatively tacky, and again, for the size of the truck, it's probably quite sufficient. One thing I have noticed straight away is that sadly the front and the rear drive shafts are out of phase, so I'm not expecting a smooth ride with this, which is, it's a real shame. I don't understand why companies just can't get that right. Most people know about correct and incorrect phase on drive shafts, but who knows? Come on, WPL, sort it out. Under here we've got power switch, and at the back there's a little clip to open up the battery box under there. A little bit fiddly, but there we go. So as it comes, you know, this is sort of something between toy grade and hobby grade. And the price of these reflects that as well, because these WPL prices are always going up and down and up and down, and depending on where you get them from, they vary a lot. You might get one of these for £40, $50, you might get one for £70 or $90. Just keep your eye on the different sellers and wait for the right moment to buy one. But yeah, that's, you know, it's not full sort of hobby grade price, and it's a little bit more than most of your toys in the shops, and the quality is somewhere in between as well, so they represent fairly good value for money, really. But it does mean that you're not easily getting inside, so you're going to have to unscrew a few things here to get the body off, to either look at your electronics inside or to fix the broken interior that it came with. So that's going to be the next thing that I do, and we'll see if there's a problem with it. So to remove the chassis from the body, you need to take out 6 screws. So there's 2 at the back on each side of the battery box, there and there. There are 2 at the sides of the chassis rails, there and on the other side of the gearbox, and then at the front there are 2 down here either side of the servo horn. So those are what you need to remove, and then you can lift out the chassis from the body. Now, one thing I can see straight away is that this has got front lights. You can see the wires down there go into the front lights. So that's interesting. And it also gives us a chance to just look at this chassis a little bit as well. So it's a flat steel railed chassis with everything mounted on there. Some of the plastic looks a bit ropey, but again, it's not hobby grade. And there's your combined speed controller and receiver. And to get the outer body off the sort of, I don't know, under tray and interior, there are 5 screws. There's 1 in each front wheel arch. Then there's 1 at the back in the centre there, and 2 which are horizontal, kind of under the back bumper. And once you've got those, you can then pull the sides of the body apart and lift that out. Right, I have just spent, I don't know, 20 minutes just trying to get that dashboard back in place. That is now where it's supposed to be. That was a pain. I did not enjoy that. It was just fiddly and annoying. And I've got to just put that down to very, very poor quality control. That should not be leaving the warehouse, should not be leaving the factory like that. And I can't believe that it's just dropped out because it was completely the wrong way around. Yeah, not very impressed. And the thing that dawned on me was, I thought, well, I might be the one in 100 that has to open it all up to do that. And it's not something that WPL would be expecting. But then I remembered, hang on, they gave us a sticker to put on the instrument panel. So everybody is supposed to do that. That just seems ludicrous. Don't understand. But anyway, here it is. It's back together. We've got batteries in now. On the transmitter, we've got a flashing light. Let's turn the car on. Flashing lights. Is that binding? Do I need to do anything? Right, the binding process has just happened on its own. We've got some questionable steering lock there, but maybe it's just because it's a very weak servo, as you'd expect. And I get that lumpy movement, which I anticipated when I looked at those drive shafts. See the lumpy movement? That is all because of those out of phase drive shafts. Now if you're going at pace, you're not really going to notice it, but when you try to go slowly, not nice. You see the wobbling there? Because those drive shafts are completely out of phase. Shame. Shame. So, looks good. I think probably would drive okay. Terrible steering lock, but maybe that can be worked with. Now all we need to do is take it out and see what it's like on a trail. We'll have that in another episode. So keep tuned to RC Pi. Please subscribe if you haven't. Hit the bell so you know when the next video is here. And we'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.